My name is John Anderson. This is quite sudden, but I was born into a very poor family. When my dad passed away from illness, I was still in elementary school. Plus, I had two younger siblings. My mom worked from dawn till dusk, but we were still so poor that we couldn't have meals enough. Our clothes were worn out, and we didn't have kind of books or toys that everyone else could buy. Yet, we lived without complaints because we were blessed with great people around us. My family got along well, and all my friends were good people. Among them, my best friend was Kevin Smith. We've been classmates since elementary school and are still best friends. I wasn't very smart. I wasn't good at sports either, and I was just a student who couldn't shine in school. But school was fun because Kevin was there. Kevin was different from me. He was the son of a wealthy family. His dad was the president of a big company. Kevin had many friends, excellent grades, and was favored by teachers, standing out as the most prominent student in our grade. Despite that, he hung out with a poor guy like me without any discrimination, even when I was bullied by boys in my class, saying, "John is spreading poverty." Kevin always stood up to protect me. Kevin and I lived near each other, so we always played together after school. We read books in the school library, did homework at each other's houses, and enjoyed playing pretend until it got dark. Kevin seemed to know that my family was poor, but he never pitied me. He kindly said, "John, if you don't have games, I'll lend you mine." There was a difference in our family backgrounds, but Kevin and I were really close friends, and I always wanted to remain best friends with him. But wanting to be with Kevin as much as possible, I worked hard to keep good grades and managed to get into the same prep school as him. We attended a co-ed prep school and were in the same class. We knew we'd go our separate ways after graduating, but it was a joy to spend our student life together. Plus, I got my first girlfriend in prep school. Her name was Ashley. Her name was Alice Johnson, a central figure in our class. She was fashionable and cute, and I was over the moon to be dating her. But I wondered why she would date someone like me. She confessed out of the blue, and I had no reason to refuse, but we didn't have any connection before. My family was still poor, and I wasn't a standout student. Why would Alice like someone like me? However, as we dated, I started to like Alice. I cherished her as my girlfriend and worked hard at part-time jobs to give her gifts on her birthday and Christmas. I thought our relationship was going well, until I heard that rumor. One day, a mutual friend told me a shocking rumor. It was that Alice was dating me because she wanted to get close to the popular Kevin. Her friends confirmed that Alice herself said it, so there was no doubt, but I couldn't believe it at first. Indeed, Alice and Kevin started talking more and I began dating. She even asked him for his contact information. Kevin didn't give it to her, saying it's not right for John. But I saw Alice talking to Kevin many times. I became increasingly suspicious. But it was just a rumor. It couldn't be true about Alice. Torn, but consumed with anxiety, I finally asked her directly. And then she said, "Oh, you found out." But it's obvious, isn't it? There's no way I could fall for a PUA guy with no future like you. I was dumped right there, and then everything went dark before my eyes. Alice's real target was indeed to be Kevin's girlfriend, and I was just being used. I get why women are drawn to Kevin. He's genuinely a great guy. But being used as a stepping stone was still a huge shock to me. After that, I stopped talking to Alice. It seemed like Alice, ignored by Kevin, started dating and breaking up with guys from other schools. But I didn't want to hear about it anymore. Since graduating high school, I haven't seen Elise. That experience made me distressed, full of women. After graduation, I ended up working in a factory. I was looking for a job with not many women, so I was grateful to work in a male-dominated factory. However, the factory salary alone wasn't enough to support my family. Since my current job allows side gigs, I was looking for something when Kevin offered me a part-time job. This job pays well and has been a big help. I'm thankful to Kevin, who's always been supportive, but I also know I can rely on side gigs forever. I want to advance in my factory job. I've never been much for flashy things. I prefer working steadily to build something. I still get scolded by my boss a lot, and there's much I haven't mastered yet. Even so, I love this job where we all collaborate to create products. I chose this job and I want to make it here. With this thought, I work diligently every day. Then, one day, Kevin got married. He handed me an invitation personally, saying, "John, I want you to give a speech as the friend representatives." A day upon the wedding day, I entered the grand hall of a top-tier hotel, which was filled with people. It seemed Kevin's business connections were also there, with over 500 guests. But I was shocked when I saw the seating chart. Shmuel Alice was at the same table. Kevin didn't know why we broke up, so he probably seated us together because we were high school classmates. It was tense and awkward seeing Alice after so long, and I couldn't escape since we were at the same table. When I sat down, Alice, seeing me, was surprised.
Hi, John. Long time no see.
Just time.
Barry said it's kind of rough, huh? This very poor guy. How did you come to such a fancy place in those clothes?
She chuckled, looking at my cheap suit and shoes. I felt embarrassed and looked down, but then a woman next to Alice intervened.
Stop it, Alice. Hi, John. It's been a while.
You're today. I'm Emily the past.
It was Emily Williams, another high school classmate sitting next to Alice. We were never in the same class, but I knew her as Alice's friend.
It's been a while. Have you been well since graduation?
Yes. I haven't changed since high school. You seem taller and more rugged than before.
Baby, there's the sonnet.
Emily complimented me, but Alice said disdainfully.
This guy only has his physical strength going for him. John, where do you work now?
Out of the paction. It's our push and herd splitter. Just
I think I can do that. I can't imagine being with a guy who doesn't wear a suit to work.
Alice laughed again. I was at a loss for words, and the atmosphere at the table turned sour. I felt sorry for Emily. As I was feeling this, the newlyweds appeared. Everyone applauded for Kevin in his tuxedo and his bride in her stunning dress. As I clapped, Alice, resting her chin on her hand, said, "Aha, I'm jealous." I had my sights on Kevin, but to lose him to that woman.
Alice, don't say things like that.
If I hadn't dated the poor guy, I should have aimed for Kevin from the start.
I guess Grisham without happy.
The hall was buzzing with excitement, but I just felt more miserable. Indeed, Kevin is on the fast track to success, and all her classmates are doing well. Nobody else at the wedding worked in a factory like I did. That's probably why Alice was making fun of me. I was feeling down when I was called for the friend representative speech. I had prepared notes, but when I saw Kevin, words just flowed. I even teared up a bit at the end, and Kevin crying a little too, and I shared a laugh. When I returned to my seat, Emily looked at me curiously.
John, I don't know if I should ask this, but
What the heck is it?
could it be that you're joking onto me?
Just as she was about to say something, a piano performance began, and the host announced, "Please enjoy some conversation time." During this time, Kevin's father, Smith, the company president, approached. He was pouring drinks at each table and looked delighted to see me. "John, thanks for the speech. It was moving. Congratulations on today. Thank you for inviting me."
Congratulations on today. But today's Tuesday. Thank you for inviting me.
As we were talking, Alice quickly came over.
You're Kevin's dad, right? About Alice, Kevin's classmate.
Hi, thanks for coming today.
This wedding is so different because it's the president's son's. The venue and the food are so grand. She was obviously flattering him. Emily and I watched her with amazement.
Our company is still growing. Nowadays, we're really relying on John here.
Right to the person, mate?
Why him?
Didn't Kevin tell you? This John is our star player. Still, but he did what way? Right, you go at Astor's.
A star player? He after works in a factory, right?
His main job is that, but he's been helping out our company part-time. He's a voice actor.
That's actors all.
In fact, Smith's company is a major talent agency with many anime and virtual characters. I've been working there under the name Clint. I've never been good at sports or studies, but I've always been complimented on my voice. Kevin, who once aspired to be a voice actor, used to envy my voice when we played radio or did voice acting as kids. That's why Kevin recommended me to his dad. This part-time job has helped a lot with tuition and living expenses. I've been unnoticed, but I've voiced some famous characters.
Wow, that character too.
I know that character. It was in a commercial recently.
John is a hotshot. Voice star sharks. Has he many fans and his character merchandise sells well. Our company is thriving thanks to him.
As we talked, people began to gather around our table. Industry big shots and celebrities started crowding around me.
He's that voice actor? Wow, I always watch that anime. Can I get your autograph?
As I was being fussed over, Alice was speechless. She looked embarrassed and kept her head down after that. Meanwhile, I'm not used to being the center of attention, so I could only respond awkwardly. It seems I'm more suited to factory work than being in the spotlight. A few days after Kevin's wedding, Emily called me out. I was working overtime that day, so I went to the cafe in my work clothes.
Sorry to call you out during work.
No, it's fine. I was just on a break. I was out. What's in? You can't.
Quick and Cyro. Alice asked me to give you a message. She wants to get back together with you and ask for my help.
About my stories?
Alice doesn't know your contact details, so she asked me.
Emily and I had exchanged contact information at the wedding. It seems Alice, impressed by my popularity at the wedding, desperately approached Emily to get back together. I was shocked at how blatantly Alice flipped her attitude after ridiculing me so much. But Emily was angry.
I told her it was rude and she should stop, but she insisted. I'm sorry.
Emily, you don't need to apologize.
I wasn't too angry, knowing Emily was upset on my behalf. But I thought she was such a kind person to go out of her way on a weekend for a friend.
If Alice likes me just because I'm a voice actor, then I can't date her. Really? Sure, voice acting is fun, but my dream is to advance in the factory.
Alice had mocked my factory job, so I doubted she'd approach me again. As I told Emily about not planning to continue voice acting, forever and wanting to advance in the factory to support my family, she nodded understandingly.
It's best to choose a job that suits you. Your work clothes really suit you, John.
Wait, really? Was that bit dirty?
People who work hard towards their dreams always look great.
Her smile prompted me to ask something I'd been curious about.
Emily, you realized my voice before I talked about voice acting. Right.
She looked puzzled after my speech, probably because she recognized it.
That was the first time for me, so it caught me off guard.
Really? Maybe I have good ears, she chuckled. I felt comfortable with Emily, who accepted me as I am, not just as a popular voice actor. I wondered if I should ask her out. After being wary of women for so long, I wanted to talk more with Emily.
Would you like to go with me sometime? Just the two of us?
I mustered up the courage to ask. Does Emily play football? Emily playfully responded.
I might get hated by Alice, so I better not?
What? All against us?
Just kidding. I don't need to worry about that. Besides, she said she couldn't handle a guy who doesn't wear a suit, right? I'll just tell her that, so it's fine.
Ah, you're right. And Tabby,
I couldn't help but laugh at her joke. Emily was bright and genuine, and I felt comfortable around her. She Dawson's. As we went on several dates, Emily and I started dating. I could be myself with her, without any pretense, and it felt like a stroke of luck to have someone so easy to talk to. I was motivated to work hard at my job, and someday I hope to have a happy family too. I might not be able to afford a fancy venue like Kevin's, but I thought it would be nice to have a modest wedding that suits us.